Hello, everyone, and welcome back to that Eurovision site. I'm Angus, and today I'm joined by Euan to talk about the one and only Polish national selection of 2025.
Can we just stop there, right? 1 second.
Yeah,
Let's just circle back. What are we discussing today, Angus?
the Wielki Finał Polskich Kwalifikacji.
There we go.
Close enough.
It's not
It's
to be a serce Evropu.
no, and there was no Elena with Booty, but there was plenty of other things to enjoy. A quick recap for the people that might have forgotten what happened or who just missed the entire thing and are now looking back at it. A total of 11 songs ended up competing, with previous Eurovision entrant Justyna Steczkowska winning with the song Gaja. Fan and that Eurosite favorites Svalonicios finishing second with Lusterka and Dominik Dudek, who returned to the Polish national final, finishing third. It was a televote only. So that is pretty much all, and it was just one night, so there's not much else to say about the evening.
Mm. Well, I think also notable the fact that it was televote only because I think if they did have another jury again, there would have been riots after the last time. Um, it's interesting you said 11 songs there because if for those of you who will have watched our pre-show video, it was 10, and then literally the day later, they announced Teo as their random, hey, this is the second person. Because I think they had two backups. One of the backups was used to replace Sarah James,
That was Janusz Radek.
Janusz Radek. But then the second one was Teo, who wasn't eligible because something to do with his citizenship, because he's actually Norwegian. But then he got granted citizenship by the president. So they just said, hey, we'll just stick him in. At least that's what is reported in the media. How this is translated in some Polish media I've seen it. This may be completely wrong, but
The thing
it's
is,
just
it feels like the joke story Eurovision fans would make up, but it's apparently the real story. And
yeah,
Poland never change, never change.
it's probably the most Polish way to change a lineup in a selection that you could have. Um, I mean, it did pretty badly. It came sixth with 3.91% of the vote. But then again, I think basically everyone did because look, it was definitely going to be Gaia's selection to lose. I don't really think anyone was predicting 39% of the vote though.
I don't think anyone was predicting anything specifically. We knew, oh, Guy is probably going to win because Justina is like she's not the biggest name opponent or anything, but she's an established name. One of the songs of her latest album, on which Gaia also is in a different form, went gold already in October. So um, it's not surprising that she won at all, but nobody had a clue with how much of a percent. I would have been surprised to see her get over 50. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was 21% either, and just a bare win with the vote more spread out. It was just impossible to predict this national final.
Hmm. But that's Poland for you.
Speaking of, so this is a return to a national final for Poland, as we've hinted at. Um, I think it's also worthwhile mentioning the guest performers at this point because I think I will be asking you about what you thought of the show. The guest performers were Baby Lasagna with Rimtum Taki Dim. And he also performed two other songs. And then Michał Szpak, who was the host and Poland's 2016 Eurovision entry, also performed two songs, one of which was called his Eurovision entry and a song called Bondage, which I don't know why that song exists, but sure. What did you think of the show?
Well, it's so nice that Baby Lasagna has his one Eurovision song and doesn't have any other music at all. Is something that I would like to say. It was very low energy, and it was so much of Go Girl Give Us Nothing, especially when it was then followed by Miko Szpak. And I don't like Miko Szpak. I didn't like him in 2016. Color of Your Life shouldn't have qualified. but there was so much more energy there. It was kind of just like, why? Um, but yeah, then the bondage song, which was just it was just weird. It was a very strange show. But then again, it's Poland, and what else do you really expect? Overall, I was surprised at how good the actual production was because if for those of us who do remember to be serce Ruchówek mamy na Eurowizję, it wasn't exactly a very well produced show, but this one it was surprisingly good. The stage was a bit weird, especially with the weird orbs at the top, but it was unique and fun to watch. Like it didn't feel like there were massive like horrific moments with the staging. Everything felt like it worked for the songs themselves. There were problems with Gaia, but I think we'll probably get into that in another point momentarily. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a well produced show. Interrelax excluding.
Yeah, it did. You could still feel it did feel a little bit still cobbled together, but this is, they're retrying a national final with basically a whole new organization of how they're doing it, and it's not like they had anything good to build off from previous years.
Mm,
So I'm very impressed by what they've done this year, and I'm looking forward to them improving, building upon. This is a good base to build from and actually make a big national final that really people tune into, because it did feel as if this was a bit of an afterthought for many of us Euro fans in the end as well, which is a shame.
yeah.
But I do think there's potential for it to grow into like an appointment viewing, basically.
And it is a shame that we didn't have a national final last year because we would have then had Justyna win with Witcher, which probably would have ended up coming top five at Eurovision, and we wouldn't have had to have suffered the horse.
I can defend a lot about Luna's performance. The horse isn't one of them. Um, on that note, as we said, so Gaia won, the Justyna Steczkowska song. What do you think of it? And what do you think of
Um,
its
I
chances at Eurovision?
I love it. I do think is in with a chance of winning Eurovision. Uh, there's lots of songs that are this year that are appealing to televotes, and there's lots appealing to jury. There's not a lot that's going for both. This is a very much a televote one, and she has the vocal ability. There's a caveat coming. She has the vocal ability that I think that she could be ranked decent enough with the juries to maybe get a mix of both. The problem is she if was doing too much on the stage, um, to the point where she was struggling at the high pitch. She even said afterwards, like, yeah, I did struggle because like she's in the middle of the air. They need to reduce what she is doing. She could just be standing in the middle of the stage while all this chaos is around her and just singing, and it would work so much better. But because she's doing so much dancing, it's so energetic, it's taking away from the performance, and it's probably not going to affect the televotes, but it probably could affect her potential for any jury votes. Um, I don't think this is going to win, but it's one of the ones I think there is well within the realms of possibility of running order lines and everything like that. But yeah, it's so energetic. She just needs to like dial it back just a little bit. Keep the chaos just not on her. Get the dancers doing all of that so just she can focus on the vocals.
Yeah, the as a complete package at the moment, it's also just too much. It's not just that she's doing too much and it's making her struggle with her vocal performance. It becomes just a sensory overload. And besides us already having enough songs in Eurovision this year that already do that as well, this is the kind of song where you can pull it back a little bit and just have Justine as this visual anchor as well that you can always cut back to, or that's in somewhere in the frame that isn't moving too much that you can just focus on for a bit while the chaos around her is unfurling, and you can still do it. I mean, maybe pull a bit back on the graphics because it became impossible to see things as well at times. It's
Although I
just
don't think
too
that's necessarily
much.
going to be a problem in Basel because it doesn't look like there's as much of a the like graphics will be as much as a visual center when compared to the rest. But I think one noticeable thing is like when they got down onto all their knees and were dancing, and like, you could see her struggling to get out because it's so energetic. Yeah, her as a nice visual anchor, like you're saying, would work a lot better.
Um,
They're going to use
but
so
yeah,
much fire, aren't they?
too much. I fear it might become too much fire. Oh, what if they start using all the smoke cannons as well? And it's like, you know that one video of Tamta's replay shot from next to the stage during the Eurovision performance, where it sounds like there's just cannons going off, basically.
I was thinking, like, do you remember the technical test when they used Vislatnyar in Lisbon, and everyone thought that was the actual uh, the pyro for Vislatnyar? And it's just that much going off. That's what I'm expecting from Poland.
I mean, it is Poland, you never know. And this is the kind of song where you're allowed to do that if it's shot well. And Poland, I'm begging you, bring a bring a good director to say this is how the camera should be shooting this, because this is a song that will live or die by just the camera shots, and it deserves good camera shots. And also Poland, I know you can do that. I'm not talking about your movie industry, which is whatever, but regardless of my issues with Junior Eurovision, you've done a pretty good job at picking good camera angles there and how to film the performances. It's very different, but it's an expertise you can work with and that you need to build upon, I think. Is there anything? I think that brings us to the end. Is there anything else you want to say?
Just that I want them to continue with a national final. I think it's better when they do. 2016
Invite
excluded.
invite Alena back. We need Booty 2.0.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I think everyone realistically does.
All right, yeah. So that brings us to the end of this discussion, post-discussion of the Polish National Final 2025, also known as you will insist on me saying, the Wielkie Final Polskich Kwalifikacji. I've been Angus. He's been Ewan. If you want to follow us on socials to, deliver your complaints about what we said or deliver compliments, our socials will be in the doobly-doo below. You will also find a link to our website, that eurovisionsite.com, where we bring you all the latest news about Eurovision and beyond. You can all with a slice of life. We shouldn't forget that. You can also follow us on all our socials. Most of those will be linked below, but we're talking places like Blue Sky, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, where we'll bring you, the latest headlines and more content as well. You can also maybe you've listened to this as a podcast, or if you want to, you can listen to this as a podcast next time. That at that Euro podcast is available on most social medias as well. And you can listen to the podcast on our website and wherever you get your podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Once again, thank you so much for watching and listening, and goodbye.
Bye.